I'm sure you guys know what this program is about, and you've read the syllabus details and had your orientation. I thought I put record here my understanding of some of the things that I hope we're going to achieve on this program together this autumn. The first one being, whilst it's limited, I'll be bringing my experience. I know it's a very different context from the UK and Europe, but I get to visit the States quite regularly, several times a year over the last 10 years, in regards to talking about this area of church and culture. But I'll definitely be bringing my experience of a European post-Christian context, and my studies and my church planting experience. And I hope that that will be helpful and informative. So this won't be just theory about mission. I hope that we'll be having some great conversations and time to talk together online, and certainly at the face-to-face, about the challenges that we're facing in our own church context. That's something I'm really looking forward to, is learning from your experiences and your context and looking at some of your profiles. You come from very interesting places with very different contexts to mine, and this is going to be a shared learning experience for all of us. There's a big remit for this course. Not only do you have a great deal of reading to do, but in terms of the goals that have been set educationally, we are supposed to be exploring ecclesiology, the nature of church biblically, theologically, historically, and sociologically. We're also supposed to be looking at postmodernity and the implications of all those previous things that I just mentioned for the postmodern context that we find ourselves in. And that really is our big interface on this program. What does it mean to think through church biblically, theologically, historically, sociologically, contextually, and what does that mean in light of what's going on with regards to the transition from modernity to postmodernity, and what is that transition even about, consumer culture, etc. Within that, we'll be looking at the notion of what I'm going to call reflective practitioners, people who are engaged in the practice and the pragmatic side of church, as well as thinking and reflection on the nature of that practice, and the cycle of how thinking informs practice and practice informs thinking, or at least it can do, whilst in the Western world those two things are usually separate. It's one of the things I really value about George Fox, its commitment to theological training that's integrated in the real world, and the feeding back from the life of the church into the seminary and the theological institution. So that'll be great as we explore issues of, well, in terms of your context, mission. One of the things we'll be looking at and helping you identify is, what is the mission that you find yourselves in, the people group that you're with, your constitution, and the areas that you're involved. What are the key leadership challenges that you're facing? And within those, and the things that God's calling you to in those, how can an understanding of church, biblically, theologically, historically, and an understanding of postmodernity and all that stuff, how can that inform and help you in the context that you're in and the people that you're ministering to? There's also a large component of this course of engaging in technology, and a large part of that will be posting on Foxtel and the discussions. I know for some of you that is something that will come easily to you. I know for some of you that's something you're going to find very difficult, and just being on Foxtel itself is probably proving a challenge at the moment. So for those of you who are finding that difficult, bear with it, persist with it. If you need any help, we're here to help you. Kelly's here to help you. I'm going to push you a little bit. In one of the assignments later in the course, I'll be asking you to probably use Facebook and YouTube. So for those of you who would run a mile from anything like that, brace yourselves for that. But I'll talk about that at the face-to-face and lead you through that together. And trust me, it's a lot easier than it may sound for some of us. So I hope you'll be embracing your preferred learning styles. I hope you'll also be exploring through technology and communication, which is a huge part of our current culture, the learning styles of the people around us and the context that we're in that we need to understand. And the last thing I wanted to say about this program is that I hope that one thing will come through this is not just an equipping for a ministry context. I hope in a way that will be lifelong, and then beginning a conversation for many of you, and some of you will be joining a conversation and continuing that conversation in this area of mission and church and culture. But beyond that, I hope there'll be a lasting appreciation and a deepening of a love for the church. I do love the church dearly, and I hope at the end of this program we will all have a deeper appreciation for the church through history, the nature of the church, God's calling upon the church, and our roles within the church. So bless you, and I'll see you soon.